And so that's an interesting game that I've been that I'm really looking forward to watching, because so on the other side of the ball you have the Arizona Cardinals, where we had a lot of disappointments with McBride and Harrison, and even Kyler didn't look good either. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they bounce back. And both these teams lost close games last week, and one of them is going to have to go to fall to 0-2. So it's also an important real life game as well. Is there any other interesting games that you guys are looking forward to, Eric?
Yeah, I mean the Bills are going up against the Dolphins. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting games of the week. Josh Allen looked like an absolute monster. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. I want to see how Dalton Kincaid bounces back, because I got a lot of Dalton Kincaid, and I'm not ready to quite hit the panic button there. I want to see a bounce back. Um, Keon Coleman, the rookie, 4 catches, 51 yards. I thought that was pretty good. I tip of the cap to the guy. I kind of had him as underperforming this year, and he's getting some targets, so it's good to see that. And James Cook to look really good. 19 rush attempts, 3 catches. He's getting a lot of the work. I give Ray Davis a little bit of a handcuff potential there, because if something happens to James Cook, I think Ray Davis might get a little bit of action. But the Dolphins, going up against the Dolphins and all the speed they got, Devon Achane looked really good. 10 rush attempts, 7 targets, 17 total touches for the guy. That's better than he was getting last year. So if he sticks with that volume, he could be really good this year. I know he's got a little bit of an injury now, but if he plays, I think, he's always dangerous when he gets the ball. And Tyreek gets arrested on the way to the stadium. This game's at home as well. I think maybe the police had odds on the other team, and the only way they could win is if they got Tyreek out of the game. Maybe that's the case, but he blew up 29 DraftKings points. I think that whenever you're going against Tyreek Hill, it's exciting to watch. Um, I would say this is probably the most exciting game of the week for me to watch. But Marcus, what do you want to see this week? What game stands out to you?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be Bengals Chiefs, that 4:30 slot on Sunday. I want to see the best QB alive, Mahomes, at the place that people were starting to call Burrowhead. I want to see if the Bengals, if week one was a mirage and that's not really them, or if the Bengals are going to be toast this year. People were drafting Burrow to be their quarterback, going as high as seventh overall from the QBs. People were drafting Jamar Chase as a top 5 wide receiver. The running back situation, I think, is a little bit different than what people were thinking the first week. Moss was beating out Brown when Brown was being the younger guy and getting all the hype and being drafted higher. So those are the things that I'm really interested in. And of course, on the Chiefs side of the ball, I want to see what will happen again. Will Rice get all the targets? Will Hollywood Brown come back? And if he does, how does that change things? Does Xavier Worthy excite again? Just so much fun and potential there. If the Bengals please show up this week, because I really want a good game.
Marcus, what are you thinking about the Burrow lingering hand injury? Is that
Yeah,
he was dealing with it in the preseason? You could tell on the sideline.
Yeah, it definitely was. It is something that I'm worried about. I didn't draft a lot of Bengals this year. I didn't draft a lot of Burrow or Chase, maybe a few shares of Brown, even took Moss once. So the Bengals scare me a little bit. And if Burrow is still dealing with any type of hand injury at all, it's going to affect, and it's going to show. I think it showed in week one. Now, New England might have a really good defense. So we have to give New England, I think, some credit.
Possible.
But yeah, I think we're going to quickly see if the Bengals are going to be in big trouble, because if you start 0-2, I think they say the odds are like less than 10% that you make the playoffs. And I think a lot of people were expecting the Bengals to bounce back and make the playoffs this year, and they could be staring at 0-2, and it's just going to be a very intriguing game Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I think the Bengals might also be dealing with some rust, because basically none of them played in the preseason. The game I'm looking forward to is the game with the highest over/under, and that is the Lions and the Bucks. Now, I might be a little biased because I did watch the Washington Tampa Bay game on Sunday and watched Baker Mayfield play lights out, Mike Evans play lights out, Chris Godwin play lights out. That might just be because who they're playing against, but they looked really good. And now they're going to play against a Detroit team that also looked really good. I think we have, in my estimation, both Tampa Bay receivers top 15, Amon-Ra St. Brown's top 5, And I'm really big on Jameson Williams. We're going to talk about more about him later on. And of course, you got Sam Laporta. So much fantasy goodness in this one game. It's going to be a good one. And of course, the running backs too.
Zach, do you think that Baker's for real, or you think this is a fluke thing? Or I mean, obviously, you feel like his career has seen a resurgence in the last 2 years, but is it legit or?
I've never really been a big believer in Baker Mayfield, but I've also always thought that pocket passers don't hit their prime until their 30s. And a lot of times teams give up on guys too soon. So we might just be seeing kind of a late breakout for Baker Mayfield.
He's got that dog in him, He's got that dog.
He got that dog in him. So
Does he get to play Washington every week?
that would certainly help. I think that would probably put him in the MVP race.
Whoever plays Washington has that dog in them.
That seems to be
Daniel
that way.
Jones.
Except Daniel Jones, so I don't know about him.
Honestly,
We'll
the
see if
same with
that's
whoever
true.
plays the Panthers too. Whoever plays the Panthers, the Saints look like one of the best teams all time this weekend.